The Philistines drew up their troops for battle to attack Israel. Saul and the Israelites came together and spread out their troops in battle readiness for the Philistines. The Philistines were on one hill, the Israelites on the opposing hill, with the valley between them. A giant nearly 10 feet tall stepped out from the Philistine line into the open. Goliath from Gath. He had a bronze helmet on his head and was dressed in armor, 126 pounds of it. He wore bronze shin guards and carried a bronze sword. His spear was like a fence rail. The spear tip alone weighed over 15 pounds. His shield bearer walked ahead of him. Goliath stood there and called out to the Israelite troop.
Why bother using your whole army? Am I not Philistine enough for you? And you're all committed to Saul, aren't you? So pick your best fighter and pit him against me. If he gets the upper hand and kills me, the Philistines will all become your slaves. But if I get the upper hand and kill him, you'll all become our slaves and serve us. I challenge the troops of Israel this day. Give me a man, let us fight it out together.
When Saul and his troops heard the Philistines' challenge, they were terrified and lost all hope. Each morning and evening for 40 days, Goliath took his stand and made his speech. Enter David. He was the youngest son of Jesse from Bethlehem in Judah. One day, Jesse told David,
"Take this sack of food and run it down to your brothers in the army camp. Check in on your brothers to see whether they are getting along all right, and let me know how they're doing."
David was up at the crack of dawn and took the food and was on his way. He arrived at the camp and greeted his brothers. While they were talking together, the Philistine champion, Goliath, stepped out from the front lines of the Philistines and gave his usual challenge. David heard him. The Israelites, to a man, fell back the moment they saw the giant, totally frightened. The talk among the troops was,
"Have you ever seen anything like this? This man openly, defiantly challenging Israel?"
David, who was talking to the men standing around him, asked,
"What's in it for the man who kills that Philistine and gets rid of this ugly blot on Israel's honor? Who does he think he is, anyway, this uncircumcised Philistine taunting the armies of the living God?"
They told him what everyone was saying about what the king would do for the man who killed the Philistine. The king will give him a huge reward and offer his daughter as a bride. The things David was saying were picked up and reported to King Saul. Saul sent for him.
"Master,"
said David,
"don't give up hope. I'm ready to go and fight this Philistine."
Saul answered David,
"You can't go and fight that Philistine. You're too young and inexperienced, and he's been at this fighting business since before you were born."
David said,
"I've been a shepherd tending sheep for my father. Whenever a lion or bear came and took a lamb from the flock, I'd go after it, knock it down, and rescue the lamb. If it turned on me, I'd grab it by the throat, wring its neck, and kill it. Lion or bear, it made no difference. I killed it. And I'll do the same to this Philistine pig who's taunting the troops of the living God. The Lord who delivered me from the teeth of the lion and the claws of the bear will deliver me from this Philistine."
Saul said,
"Go, and let the Lord help you."
Then Saul outfitted David as a soldier in armor. He put his bronze helmet on his head and belted his sword on him over the armor. David tried to walk, but he could hardly budge. David told Saul,
"I can't even move with all this stuff on me. I'm not used to this."
and he took it all off. Then David took his shepherd's staff, selected 5 smooth stones from the brook, and put them in the pocket of his shepherd's pack, and with his sling in hand approached Goliath. As the Philistine paced back and forth, his shield bearer in front of him, he noticed David. He took one look down on him and sneered. A mere youngster. The Philistine ridiculed David,
Am I a dog that you come after me with a stick?
and he cursed him by his God.
Come on!
Said the Philistine,
I'll make roadkill of you for the buzzards. I'll turn you into a tasty morsel for the field mice.
David answered,
"You come at me with sword and spear and battle axe. I come at you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel's troops, whom you curse and mock. This very day the Lord is handing you over to me. I'm about to kill you, cut off your head, and serve up your body and the bodies of your Philistine buddies to the crows and coyotes. The whole earth will know that there's an extraordinary God in Israel, and everyone gathered here will learn that the Lord doesn't save by means of sword or spear. The battle belongs to the Lord. He's handing you to us on a platter."
That roused the Philistine, and he started toward David. David took off from the front line, running toward the Philistine. David reached into his pocket for a stone, slung it, and hit the Philistine hard in the forehead, embedding the stone deeply. The Philistine crashed, face down in the dirt. That's how David beat the Philistine, with a sling and a stone. He hit him and killed him. No sword for David. Then David ran up to the Philistine and stood over him, pulled the giant's sword from its sheath, and finished the job by cutting off his head. When the Philistines saw that their great champion was dead, they scattered, running for their lives.